Trust meteorologist Mikkel Hannah Harding for your first alert. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 live at 5.
A deadly shooting is highlighting safety concerns in an Augusta neighborhood.
Just before 9 o'clock last night, Richmond County deputies were called to the Smart Grocery Convenience Store that's on Wrightsboro Road, and they went there on a report of gunshots. Now, when they arrived, they found 32-year-old Jeremiah Griffin dead with at least one gunshot wound.
Our Sydney Hood is live for us in the newsroom in Sydney. This seems to keep happening in this area, and we've seen multiple shootings at that store before.
Exactly. In addition to last night's shooting, in the past 6 years, we found nearly 10 other shootings at this same spot. Now, this is going all the way back to 2017 when one person was injured in a shooting. The next year, in 2018, one person had at least 2 gunshot wounds. And then in 2020, someone fired shots that hit a bystander. And then in 2021, we found the store to be the scene of 2 more shootings that same year. And then last year, a 17-year-old died after being shot. Now, this year alone, we've reported on 2 other shootings at the store, one in January, one in July. City leaders have acknowledged this area as crime-troubled, and that was way before last night's shooting.
All right, thanks, Sydney, for keeping us updated. A lot of activity going on in that area. Hopefully something can change there.
And hopefully commissioners now will start paying attention that it just keeps happening.
Shifting gears here, a huge congrats for the Greenbrier girls flag football team as they claim the state title. They defeated Lithia Springs in Atlanta 14-6 for the final match of the season at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes, you are taking live look at the return of the team. So exciting. Again, this is their first time winning the state title in this sport, a sport that they've only had for several years. Columbia County making a very strong presence in the postseason, but of course Greenbrier the only one going to the Final Four and then to the finals, and now look at them, state champions.
It's a big turnout there at Greenbrier High School. I saw some of their highlights online on Twitter, and man, they were slinging the ball out there, looking really good. Congrats to them for winning. We have Dan Booth coming up live after weather. We'll get a full breakdown of those highlights as well.
That was good stuff right there, and got to play in the bins, brought home the state championship. Congratulations to the Wolfpack. That is a big win right there. Hey, nice weather out there this afternoon. Stayed a little bit cooler than average. High temps remaining in the 50s again this afternoon. We did hit the 20s out of Bushfield this morning, got down to 29 degrees, so a cold start and still pretty cool out there this afternoon. Other high temperatures across the area were just a tad cooler than us here in Augusta. 54 so far in Aiken, same thing in Thompson, Washington, and then Sandersville, you did get up to 57 just a couple of hours ago. Here's a look at other temperatures across the region right now. So 52 in Aiken, we're down to 51 right now in Bushfield. Thompson, you're at 52, and currently 50 in Waynesboro. Looking inside the metro, a little bit warmer there, Daniel Field, currently at 53. And since we did see a good bit of sun today, and we're not really going to see that much wind tonight, I would imagine our urban heat-on effect is going to be in full effect. You can see mostly clear skies at the moment. So as temperatures try to drop throughout the rest of tonight, since that sun was out today, that did warm up our urban environment, so that's going to continue to just kind of release that heat tonight. So if you live around the city, you'll most likely stay in the mid-30s, but if you're away from that city environment, you'll likely be below freezing anywhere from, I'd say, around 29 to 31. I'll look at the rest of the week's forecast for you in just a bit. Let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, taking a look at I-20 and Riverwatch Parkway, and you can see that sun getting very low in the sky, so westbound traffic, blinding sun out there. Be careful. Luckily, not much traffic to mention at the moment, and we're looking at relatively calm conditions there in the sky. Looking at Grovetown next, exit 190 Lewiston Road, and just seeing the usual traffic there towards the interstate going up to Lewiston Road, but right now not too busy here on the overpass. Have an update on some rain moving in late in this weekend in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. Day 2 of the GHSA Football State Championships was underway at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and as we saw, Greenbrier bringing home some hardware there.
Exciting news for them. News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth has the latest on the Wolfpack's historic state championship victory.
This year is filled with a lot of firsts. This is the first time the GHSA is hosting their state championships in football right here at the Benz. And this is also the first time that Greenbrier had the opportunity to win a state championship in girls flag football, which is exactly what they did. With their first state championship in program history in their sights, the Wolfpack hit the turf at the Benz to face a tough Lithia Springs team. Both of these teams found the end zone early on, but after that it was all defense, setting up for an exciting fourth quarter. Despite leaving the game with an injury early on, nothing was going to keep Maggie Pangle from finishing this game. She delivered big time by making this incredible contested catch that went on to be the game-winning touchdown. Greenbrier goes to Atlanta and gets the job done, 14-6, becoming the first girls flag football team in the CSRA to win a state championship.
It's just been such a special moment for our girls, and all the time in the locker rooms, and I can't wait to watch them celebrate some more.
This team has a lot of heart for the game. This team means a lot to me. I have so much fun playing on this team, and I'm pretty sure Greenbrier finna be lit when we come back.
Our Under the Lights coverage of the GHSA Football State Championships will continue on News 12 at 6 o'clock as I keep on breaking down Greenbrier's historic victory and what winning state could mean for the future of girls flag football across the state of Georgia. Reporting from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Dan Booth on your side.
And how awesome is that for them to get to play in the Benz for that state title?
I know.
That's
So
cool.
I mean, it's a dream come true for so many of them, and to be on the first team ever for that school in that sport
They'll
to
always
win
remember
the
that.
state championship. That's
so
amazing.
Congratulations to them as well. Well, a reporter and photojournalist say that they were held hostage last night right before going on air. This all happened in Atlanta in the parking lot of the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Now, they say a man approached them and indicated that he had a gun. The suspect, now identified as Brandon Logan, allegedly threatened to shoot them if they called for help. Thankfully, they were able to alert their coworkers about what exactly was happening, and then the police were called. It took an hour and a half for them to respond and take Logan into custody. He's been charged with more than a dozen charges, including terroristic threats and false imprisonment. We do know that reporter and photojournalist were not hurt, and they're recovering.
A Georgia high school athlete found dead the day before he was to join his team in Monday night's state championship game in Atlanta. 17-year-old Brandon Smith was found Sunday in a residential area of Meriwether County. Not a lot is known about this case so far, but Adore authorities say they do suspect foul play. Instead of competing alongside their teammate, the Meriwether High School team carried Smith's number 52 jersey out onto the field. And even though he wasn't able to play, fans in the stands felt his spirit on the sidelines.
We're gonna do it for Brandon tonight. Number 52. We're gonna do it for Brandon.
He's an excellent student. Everybody liked him. He'd often talk to the teachers, and they liked him a lot, too.
In a statement to parents, Meriwether High School says the circumstances surrounding his death are still under investigation, the GBI leading that case.
More than $150 million meant to help South Carolina students afford college has racked up and sat unspent in a state account over the last several years.
Now, that is according to a new investigation and report into the South Carolina Commission on Higher Education, which manages state-funded lottery scholarships. Our State House reporter Barry Green has those details.
The State Inspector General completed this investigation into the Commission on Higher Education at lawmakers' request. He calls the unspent $150 million in state lottery funds that his investigation found a missed opportunity that could have been spent on more scholarships or educational expenses.
As a legislator and a steward of the people's tax dollar and lottery dollar, for that matter, I'm upset.
The executive director of the Commission on Higher Education told lawmakers this accumulation was the result of inaccurate scholarship projections, particularly for the Palmetto Fellows, Hope, and Life scholarships.
No eligible student was denied funding, nor were the funds used for any other purpose. Every student that was eligible for a lottery scholarship received the lottery scholarship.
This was one area of, quote, deficient management detailed in the State Inspector General's report.
If you could give CHE a letter grade in management, what grade would you give it?
I would say there's some remedial training needed.
Inspector General Brian Lamkin recommends this unspent lottery scholarship money be returned to the General Assembly. According to the report, these unused dollars had been piling up for years. But through interviews, the Inspector General says his team learned the commission hadn't informed lawmakers or the Executive Budget Office about its accumulation until late 2022. The governor says he wasn't aware of this until the report was issued. To the extent this money isn't factored into his executive budget proposal for next year, for now.
If it's lottery money, then it ought to be used for the lottery scholarships. I'm hoping we're having more students, and particularly nurses and teachers, that people want to be nurses and teachers that could use those scholarships, because we're running short on all of those.
And it's important to note the state inspector general says his investigation found no evidence of criminal behavior into how agency funds are managed, and he says there's no need for a forensic audit. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
Another finding from the SIG's report is that the commission only completed about a quarter of its required audits of schools that received lottery funds over its last audit period. The commission's executive director attributed that to staffing shortages.
A Georgia suspect takes to the stand in her own murder trial. Just ahead, we'll break down what happened as the jury deliberates. Riley?
And we are looking to hang on to dry and cool weather the next few days, but next rain chance, unfortunately, for the weekend. We'll have a look at it coming up.
Diamond all on us. That's up to $1,700 in value, only on Verizon.
'Tis the season to put a smile on a child's face.
It's the Marine Corps Toys for Tots Drive, and News 12 is proud to be an official drop-off location.
Drop off a new unwrapped toy at our studios during normal business hours.
Make a child's holiday brighter with News 12 and Toys for Tots.
Well, we are hitting sunset right now. Looking at it from our Thermodam cam, you can see just a few of these high-level clouds moving in tonight. These are going to continue to stream in tonight and throughout the Wednesday and Thursday, but not rain-producing clouds for us, so staying nice and dry for any outdoor plans. If you're heading out this evening, temperatures will drop pretty quick again for us. We're already down to near 50 degrees and should be hitting the 40s within the next hour or so. As we head into late tonight, we're eventually going to see our low temps get close to freezing. I would imagine most spots waking up close to 30 degrees, maybe a spot or two a little bit cooler than that, but hanging on to just a few clouds overnight, so that will keep most of us away from the 20s, I would believe, as we get towards sunrise tomorrow. Cold nonetheless, definitely below freezing in a number of spots out there for the first part of your Wednesday morning, so bundle up. Throughout the day tomorrow, we should say mostly sunny to partly cloudy. We'll kind of have those high clouds moving throughout the day, but high temperatures will be just a few degrees warmer than the past couple of days. I believe we should be able to get at least up to 60 tomorrow. That wind direction not changing, staying generally out of the northeast between 5 to 10. Here's our setup. High pressure sitting right on top of us, bringing us those calm and relatively clear conditions across the area. You can see there is a front crossing over the Mississippi River. Now, that front's not going to bring us any precipitation, but it is just going to help knock down our temperatures again Thursday into Friday. You can see temperatures across the region this afternoon. They did hit the 60s across the Mid-South. Much cooler, though, up towards the Great Lakes. Chicago only made it to 37 this afternoon. That is all thanks to that little dip in our jet stream. So that's going to keep most of the Northeast on the cooler side the next couple of days. As we head into the weekend, that's when we are going to be keeping an eye on our next incoming trough. So ahead of that trough, we're going to see our temperatures not really warm up all too much, but as this just gets closer and closer into the weekend, that's what's going to also provide us a chance for some rainfall. So this is going to be driving an area of low pressure out of the Gulf of Mexico. Both long-range models that we're looking at are showing that this area of low pressure does get close to the region. Right now, the American model gets it a little bit closer to the CSRA relative to the European, but both model solutions are showing a very high chance for rain on Sunday. So, unfortunately, we just kind of been in this pattern over the past several weeks to where this rain does impact weekend plans. So right now it does look mostly dry still on Saturday. Most of that rain should fall on Sunday. So kind of similar to what we just saw this past weekend. If you do have plans to get outside, definitely try to get them in on Saturday. Overall temperatures are going to remain cooler than average, so you can see some pretty chilly mornings ahead. It's not until the weekend that we do see those overnight lows back into the 40s. Quick look at that 7-day forecast. You can see through the weekend we do bring in that rain Sunday, and some of that could even linger into early next week.
All right, thank you, Riley. A woman accused of following, shooting, and killing a man could soon learn her fate. Hannah Payne allegedly followed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring after witnessing a hit and run in 2019.
Payne says that she was following Herring while on the phone with police to be a messenger, despite not being involved in the crash herself. Payne took to the stand to defend herself yesterday. Bridget Spencer walks us through her testimony.
Ma'am! Yes. Ma'am! He just pulled the trigger of my gun in my hand.
It was an emotional day for Hannah Payne as she took the stand for the first and only time in her own murder trial.
Ma'am, you were not supposed to follow him.
The 25-year-old is accused of following and shooting 62-year-old Kenneth Herring after he crashed into an 18-wheeler in 2019.
I was under the impression, with me having 911 on the phone, that I could just be kind of like a messenger. So I took my phone on speaker and I took it to him to show him that I had the police on the phone, and I'm telling him they want us to go back to the original accident site.
That's what she claims Herring twisted her wrists and neck and pulled her into his truck.
The entire time I'm telling him to let me go, and that's when he hits the gas and we go forward. While it only may have been a few steps or a few feet, when you are being held against your will and you have no idea what's ahead of you and you're looking down, it felt like it lasted forever. And I just remember it was like I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I thought I was going to go down Riverdale Road, out hanging out the side of this car.
She testified, saying in that moment she reached for her weapon, fearing for her life.
And he started trying to actually yank it away from me.
You could hear the two struggling over the weapon here.
As he's pulling it is when it went off.
Payne testifying it was Herring who pulled the trigger.
I never had any intention on pulling the trigger.
And in fact, you never did pull that trigger, did you?
Correct.
During cross-examination, prosecutors argue all of this could have been avoided had Payne not followed Herring or introduced a gun into the situation.
Payne is facing several charges, including malice murder, felony murder, and false imprisonment. As we speak, a jury is deliberating her fate.
Still ahead, a South Carolina ranch is getting some much-needed help just before the holidays. We'll have that story for you coming up.
First Alert Radar.
In South Carolina's upstate, a horse ranch known for helping the community is now getting some help in return.
After some issues with their old barn, equine heart healers needed some extra help constructing a new shelter before the winter set in. Brooklyn Cromer shows us how everybody stepped in to help.
Here, horses bring hope and healing.
We're set up to use the horses for people with PTSD or other life-altering issues.
After seeing what horses can do for a person, husband and wife Andrew and Sedina Rutledge opened Equine Heart Healers Ranch in Ware Shoals.
They come out here, they're able to forget about it.
Andrew serving in the Army and Sedina living through the war in her home country of Bosnia. Both battled post-traumatic stress disorder.
When we first opened the doors, we were going to just help veterans, but we quickly came aware that they're great for kids with autism. It's great for other kids with issues, for trauma, for people that are recovering from other issues.
When Carpenter Jamie Pollard heard about their mission, he wanted to help out.
PTSD affects a lot of people, and anything to give them some relief and some, ground them, I just think it's a great thing.
Pollard is volunteering, helping build a new shed for the horses.
I really wanted to get on board with that. I got a son that's a Marine and one in the National Guard, and I fully want to support, our veterans and our, service members.
The horses help people break down barriers, build confidence, and gain trust.
Mental illness, that's a wide umbrella, big wide spectrum of it. So you never know which type of therapy you might need.
Well, over the next couple of nights, we do have the peak of the Geminid meteor shower. We'll let you know how you can check it out coming up just after the break.
Feeling when you get 2 for $3.49. Mix and match a McDouble, McChicken, and small fries. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right, welcome back. Here's a live look from our Beach Island camera showing a beautiful look at sunset. We are seeing that sun getting lower into the sky and interacting with some high-level cloud cover moving in from the west. So some pretty colors out there. We're hoping we keep the cloud cover away for tomorrow night. So Wednesday night to early Thursday morning between midnight and 2 a.m., we are going to have the peak of the Geminid meteor shower. So these meteors are going to be looking like they're radiating near that constellation of the Gemini constellation. And this is actually considered to be one of the best of the year, so you can actually see dozens of meteors per hour during this shower for us. And if you do have a better spot to be away from those city lights, that's going to be ideal to check this out. But there's going to be the opportunity for a few clouds as well, so keep your fingers crossed. We do stay mostly clear, because that could be pretty cool to check out for us. Once we get into the weekend, that's when rain chances are back, most likely Sunday into Monday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break as News 12 Live at 5 continues.